People of faith, building together. People of faith assisting those who have a dream for a home. That's the goal for the American people. And it's a goal for our community. On Austin Faith Dialogue today, we're going to talk about people of faith assisting in building homes for people without homes. Stay with us on Austin Faith Dialogue.
Austin Faith Dialogue, at the crossroads of religion and life. A series highlighting the cultural and social interactions between the worshiping and religious communities in and around the capital city. Austin Faith Dialogue is brought to you by the Austin Metropolitan Ministries in cooperation with KXAN. Join us now in Austin Faith Dialogue.
I'm not sure where to begin all this, but first of all, let me welcome you. I'm Carl Gronberg, host for the program, and I attended a dedication of a home in Austin. I was privileged to have a camera with me on that day, and as I watched those individuals celebrate, rejoice, hug, laugh, and cry together, and then give a tour of the recently constructed home, I was touched by the Spirit of God being involved in all of those people. That's what I would like to share with you as we begin a new year and a new century, that people of faith can hold up before others the opportunity to build together. Meet, would you please, Judy Henderson. Judy, welcome to Austin Faith Dialogue. Glad to have you with us.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here.
And Pastor Kent Bowles. Kent, thanks for coming and being here.
It's a joy.
I'm
Thanks.
excited and happy that both of you are on Austin Faith Dialogue. Judy, I was there the day of the dedication of your home, and that smile you gave our Austin Faith Dialogue viewing audience, that smile was all over your face.
Oh, yeah. It will be there forever.
And I could tell you're a hugger because there are hugs going on for all these people who came.
Yes.
And Kent Bowles, known you a long time, and I was so touched by that experience and your leadership because you're involved in that process.
Yeah.
And what does it mean to you as a person of faith, Kent, to lead a group of people? You worked with the Lutheran community in helping Judy receive her home, but tell us about that.
Well, let's see. This last year, there were almost 25 congregations that were involved in building Judith's house. This is the fourth one that we've come together on. And I guess I've always struggled with how do I live out my faith? Where's that going to meet the road? Where's it going to happen? And it's one thing to talk about loving God, but when you say love thy neighbor as thyself, I don't always know who that neighbor is going to become, but in this case it became Judith Henderson and her family.
But to be really honest, we have to say God was so involved in all this because
Very
you
much
both
so.
come from the same community.
Yeah.
And that also is amazing to me. I'm kind of an outsider. I wasn't born in Texas like the two of you, and as they say, I got here as quickly as I could, but you two were born in the community of Taylor, and you went to Taylor High School. And
Once a
that's
duck, always a duck.
and that's an amazing story, that you're both Taylor Ducks,
Yeah.
and that you should meet together in the project of building a home for Judy and her family. Talk a little bit about that, would you, Judy?
Well, God has a way of intertwining people into your life that you have no idea it's going to happen. And to become a Habitat homeowner, you have to have sponsors. And I was told that my sponsors would be the Lutheran congregation. And the night that I met my sponsors, Pastor Bowles walked in and he said, I'm Pastor Bowles. And I'm like, Bowles, like B-O-H-L-S from Taylor? And he said, yes. And then we were both Taylor Ducks. And it was like, right there, any fear that I had of having a hammer and putting up a wall was, I have someone that I knew. And he was there through the whole build. Being there, going to perform a wedding and coming back, and it was wonderful having someone that I felt was very close.
Not everybody who builds a home with Habitat for Humanity will have that kind of experience of saying,
no.
wow, we're from the same community.
Yeah.
But something happens to the people who become a part of building a home. We want to talk about that in this program so that those who are watching Austin Faith Dialogue will say, I'd like to be a part of that. Because as we move into the new year, as we move into this new century, maybe the dream that we can have homes for people could be realized through the faith experts, through people like Pastor Kent Bowles and others. Judy, tell us a little bit about your life, how it happened that you were looking for a home for you and your family.
I am a very strong believer in faith, in prayer. if you have just a little bit of faith, that of a mustard seed, you'd be surprised what can happen for you. I lived in low-income housing, a single parent, 2 children, and I could never see myself owning a home. But I went to an orientation and I prayed at this orientation, please let this be for me. I didn't have to have a down payment for this home. The only thing I had to do was do sweat equity, just go and work. And I said, hey, I can do that. I can go and work, and I did. And I put in my application, and out of 200 people there at the orientation, they phoned me, and I was chosen, and that was a blessing. All of it. And all you have to do is have faith and work toward it, and it can happen.
And to be open to the invitation of other people of faith to work together with them. Single parent, 2 children. You had a job, but you found yourself living in low-income housing. Tell us a little bit about your daughter and your son. Your daughter, when she was going through high school, said
she wanted to go to college, and I had been previously on welfare, for a very short time. I didn't have a savings, and she wanted to go to college, and I said, you can do anything you want to do through God. She graduated with academic scholarships, and then from college as outstanding graduating senior woman from college. She went.
Let's tell them what college she went to.
She went to Southwest in San Marcos. After that, she said, people are talking about what my major is, but I want to give something back. Her major was in social work. They goes, there's no money. She says, not money, Mom. I want to give something back to society. And she went on to be a congressional aide for Congressman Doggett. And right now she's working on Bill Bradley's presidential campaign. And she is the second mother to her 15-year-old brother, who's the first year of high school, and he's in National Honor Society, so it's Lakeisha and Michael. And I'm there with both of them, and they helped us build this house with the Lutherans.
They sure did.
You're a proud mom,
With the
aren't
Lutherans.
you?
Oh, yes, I am. Very proud.
And so for Michael and for Judy Henderson, there is this home that you can live in, and people of faith assisted you in that process. You were living in low-income housing. You saw the invitation to come to an orientation meeting, and you said, that's something I can do.
Oh, yeah.
Pastor Bowles, talk about it from the point of view of congregations. How does that process work for a congregation? There'll be people of faith watching this of a variety of religious communities, and they might be wondering, what can we do to be involved with Habitat for Humanity?
How to get involved. The Habitat folks have been terrific partners. The whole program is international. It's not just a local program. Wherever you go in the world, you can bump into a Habitat site project. First thing is contact the local office. Get in touch with Carolyn Larson, the director, the volunteer coordinator over there, and tell them you want to be a part of it. Sometimes just to go and be a part of a build initially kind of cut your teeth a little bit. And we had done that on a number of bills, and then 5 years ago we said, I think we can take this step. And the first step was to raise $40,000. And we've done that 4 times now to raise the dollar amount. The amount's gone up a little bit now. I think it's about $47,000 for the next house. And so 1 is to raise the money. 2 is to have 16 weeks of work, to have 20 to 40 volunteers there every Saturday. And 3 is to feed them. And so there was a lot of coordinating, a lot of the scenes to get congregational coordinators to be a part of this. And
you worked hard, but you had that vision, and it was a way to live out your baptism, your faith.
that's right.
Talk a little bit about how do people of faith, of denominations within Christianity and other people of faith, how do they go about, how did you do that? How did you raise that money? What did you do, at bake sales, or what did you do?
I think we've done about everything possible, from spaghetti dinners to putting up a sheet of plywood in the entryway to the church and say you can sign that piece of plywood for $1, free will offerings, car washes, fall carnivals. Every church did their own. We didn't have one mass gathering for the whole thing. We had, this was the first year that we had individuals volunteer. We had one individual that donated all the carpet for the home, and he and his crew came and installed it.
And that was a local businessman, is that correct?
A local businessman, yeah. Another businessman gave all the hardware, all the fixtures and the door locks, got that set up. Another one donated the rebar that went into the concrete flooring. So, you know, a lot of people in businesses can give. You know, if we had somebody that would give a refrigerator, we would have taken that. We didn't come up with that one, or an air conditioning unit.
So businesses and people of faith who have businesses can become involved in that way, that they can give the refrigerator or the carpeting. They can be a part of that whole process.
I think some businesses actually partner with Habitat to build homes. What we have tried to do is encourage businesses that are active in their faith community. This is another way that their business that they may own or be a principal in. I don't know, I can tell you one story about one of the local unions. We had 2 of our workers that were so excited about Habitat, they'd been a part of it, and they mustered up the courage and they went to their local union hall and said, we believe in Habitat. This is something holy, something special. They may not have said holy, but they said this is important. And the union voted to give the money to provide all the electrical work, and then their own workers came out and did the work for Judas House.
Judy, these stories, and of course you're familiar with these stories, but I'm glad Pastor Bowles tells them, because our viewing audience, this is kind of eye-opening stuff. And as we begin this new year, it's stuff that we can say can happen, because you mentioned something about a mustard seed and having faith. What about as you watched all of this taking place? What was going on in your mind and in your heart?
The experience of love and faith. There were many volunteers that came out that didn't own a business, who had full-time jobs, but they wanted to give, and they would work 5 days a week, and on Saturdays they were there, not just one Saturday, but every Saturday, giving their time, and we laughed together, we cried together, we prayed together, and we built together.
And you ate together.
And we ate together, yes. And not only that, I found I found some personal friends. Friends who call me now, they want to know how we're doing, and want to let me know, we're not out of your life. We came into your life and we're here to stay. And I love that. I love that.
Pastor, it's a sense of unity, isn't it? That
There really
becomes
is.
a part of it.
I remember the day that we broke ground on the house, and there were 3 of us that were there before sunrise. And we were there, and we looked out to the west. Sun was just coming up, and in the west, 2 hot air balloons were taking off above the trees. And we said, today is going to be something special.
I have a holy house.
Well, we like to think
blessed,
that holiness in homes is a possibility. We're going to continue to talk to these 2 fine people who live out their faith and share the dream and the vision of homes for the citizens of this community. Please stay with us in Austin Faith Dialogue as we talk about building homes as people of faith. Welcome back to Austin Faith Dialogue. We're glad to have you with us. And as we begin this new year, we're talking about a vision for people of faith. The vision of moving into a new year with excitement and a reason for being. Building homes and helping people build homes. And one way to do that is through Habitat for Humanity. And we have with us Judy Henderson and Pastor Ken Bowles, and we're talking about that. You said that when you saw that flyer that advertised owning your own home and building your own home, it said sweat equity. Now that's, what does that mean, sweat equity?
Sweat equity means that it's not a monetary equity. You don't have to put down money for a down payment. You go out and physically work. You sweat. And you put in 400 hours. It can be your friends, your church family. Just put in 400 hours. down payment. And after that, the most beautiful part is that you have a very affordable mortgage, one that you don't have to worry about, am I going to be able to stay in this home? I was paying over close to $600 for a 2-bedroom apartment. Now I have a 3-bedroom home with probably half of what I was paying for the apartment.
But I think it's important to make that statement then. Do I understand it right that not only do you put in the sweat equity, that's your down payment, so to speak,
Yes.
but you also then pick up a monthly payment, is that
Yes,
correct?
because my mortgage payments makes it, well, other people we can build homes for other people. You buy the supplies. My mortgage payments makes it possible for other people to have homes. So, yeah.
And that's the process of Habitat for Humanity. That's how they go
Yes.
about doing that.
Yes.
Pastor Bowles, how about you in that
I guess I
whole?
was just going to say one of the holy moments each Saturday when I was out there is that Judith would come up to me with her sheet that said how many hours she worked that day and asked me to sign that sheet for her, for you or Michael or Lakeisha. And that, just touched my heart deeply, as we did that time and again as your hours accrued. And I guess the other thing that's important is that all those hours cannot be on her own home, that she has to be working on other houses of Habitat that are being built in the community.
Well, let's talk about that. You said this is for your particular denomination, this is the 4th build that you've had, right?
Right.
But Habitat has built many, many homes in the Austin community, is that correct?
Yeah, the subdivision where Judy lives, there's 12 houses in that were finished up early part of this year, and then there's another 10 houses that were built this year. So that's probably getting up close to 70 houses that Habitat in Austin has built.
That's a powerful witness, isn't it?
Oh, it's wonderful.
One
And
by
it's
one.
a variety of groups that can be a part of that. They may not necessarily be people of the faith community, but other organizations can be a part of it.
Very definitely. Habitat is a faith-based organization. They make that statement. As the founder talks about the theology of the hammer, that we put our faith, our belief in God into action, but it's not to be exclusive that way. Anybody can be a part of Habitat. There's Habitat chapters at the University of Texas, Concordia University, St. Edwards sends out students. So they're very
And
much
civic
involved.
organizations, I've heard, have also been involved in building these homes.
And other denominations here in town have been involved very strongly.
Judy, what does it mean to you then you're a Baptist, right? Is that what you told me? You're a Baptist. To be working with another denomination. You mentioned that these people have said, you're a part of our life and we're going to be involved in your life. But what does it mean to you as a person of faith?
It means to me that there's one God. And no matter what denomination you are, if you have that faith and you have that belief, we're all the same. We're all in the same. And it was wonderful. We rejoiced together. Like I said, it was wonderful.
Yeah, I could tell at that dedication how wonderful that whole process was.
Yeah.
And you also mentioned that you get people involved from a congregational point of view who can give money. Is that correct?
Give money.
But who also can give their time.
Very much
and
so.
The theology of the hammer. I like that idea.
Yeah.
And they can also then fix food.
Right.
And what are some of the other things? You can invite the business people of the community, of the congregation to be a part of it. What are some of the other things that they can do?
I think as people are involved in business, they have different expertise. And so as whatever you have, Habitat will probably say we can use it, somewhere down the line, and to take that in. Just as you were saying, that reminded me of one woman that signed up on the volunteer sheet for a particular Saturday, and somebody said, well, I guess she can bring sandwiches, and, told her that, we're not bringing sandwiches that day. And she said, I'm coming to work. You remember that Saturday?
Yes,
and she was out there with her shovel and rake and her caulking gun, and, and I'm not sure how old Doris is, but she's older than I am.
Uh-huh.
And she had a great day and touched us all that way.
Age was not
right.
not age. The only thing, if it was a young child, we didn't, for safety purposes, young children under the age of 13 were not allowed. But there were a group of senior citizens from the Lutheran Church who, at my dedication, had a gift for me.
Oh.
And they had put together a beautiful quilt. They said, we couldn't come out and we couldn't hammer, but we have this for you.
Yeah.
And it is beautiful.
Wow.
They did something that they wanted us to enjoy in our home.
So a housewarming.
Yeah.
I think the relationships, that's what strikes me.
Oh, yeah.
And when at that dedication, as I mentioned a couple times,
Yeah.
I was just amazed at how the relationships have gone with these people of faith.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you also wanted to share another thought and idea about
Well,
this.
I guess I was just thinking that I was in that neighborhood this evening to come through and to see the liveliness and the beauty of what's happened to those houses. and you celebrate the end result, but the relationships that are built while we were working on the project. You know, we had people that were brand new to church that we didn't even know, and they didn't know each other. And by the end of the day, you know, they were passing the hammer and holding boards and painting and, you know, working together to make it happen. And so it's really been an incredible building opportunity for people to come together.
The sense of pride that comes to people to, as you said
true.
at the top of
Yeah.
the program, Pastor Bowles, living out your faith and being able to, you know, we've been going through the Christmas season, and there we saw a homeless couple. We saw this Mary and the man in her life, Joseph, and they were looking for a place to rest and a place to be. And to be able to say that they had no place. And that maybe we could say as a community, we would like to be able to provide a place for people and that we could actually live that out. Judy, what happens to you? Not that low-income housing is negative. You live there, provide a roof for your family.
Thank goodness it exists.
You're right. Thank goodness it exists. But what did it mean to you? Matter of fact, didn't you cut a board? Wasn't that part of that whole process? And then
Instead of a ribbon cutting, we had to cut a board.
Yeah, you had the
and then I
saw.
got the keys and was
Yeah.
able to move in. Yeah.
And when you walked in, and then these people came, and you gave them a tour of your home, what was going on in Judy Henderson's, in your life? What was going on at that time as you showed Ralph your home?
Lots of love, lots of appreciation. Because these people cared and gave of their time and their love and their service, we had a home. We have a home. And it's one that's affordable, that's comfortable, and we're so happy in it. And these people have given us something that, had it not been for Habitat, I can't see it ever happening. And so it's like a dream come true. They have given me the American dream.
You know, you mentioned your daughter saying, "Mom, I want to give something back."
Yeah.
And I think that's
Yeah.
a beautiful idea.
Oh, yeah.
What about you, Judy? Do you plan to be involved more in Habitat? Will that be something that you and your faith community will want to be involved in?
I have always been involved, and I will always be involved. Anything that I can do to help anybody, I've always been there. Just one instance, when I did live in low-income housing, I had a mother to die in front of her children, and she was a single parent, and she left these children alone. I took these kids under my wing and took them to Social Security, took them to legal aid so that they could stay together. And I will always be a giver, always. Anything that I can do to give back, I will do the same. Yeah. And these children, because of my help, are still together.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
A great story.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why your daughter is the type of person she is, do you think? Maybe that's
Yeah.
also something about the parenting process.
Well,
very
I
good.
hope so. I hope so. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And I think to say, too, that the Lutherans didn't give you a house. You know, we were blessed to be a partner in that whole
Right,
process.
right,
And,
right.
you know, I think that's a really important thing. Not only did you work, you paid, but you're a part of it. You're a part of it. And to invite us into that is just a real gift that Habitat gives us.
They helped my dream come true.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And
That's
to
for
live that
sure.
American
And to
dream.
have
Yeah.
it. Yes.
That's
yes.
right.
But the dream, I think, needs to also be a part of the faith community, not just a cultural thing, not just a political reality,
Right.
but also a dream of the faith community that our brothers and sisters, there can be separation between people, and we know that, right? There can be separation racially, there can be separation economically, there can be separations culturally, and we have to fess up to that and realize in every community, Austin's not unique in that. But I think what is exciting about this Habitat is that it brings people from north, south, east, and west together of a variety of faith expressions to be able to live out their faith,
Yes.
to do the work of justice and building and sharing that which is the motivation of God in their lives. There are some difficult moments, though, aren't there? What would be some of the hardest parts? Because we've given a beautiful picture here with Judy's smile and of your faithfulness, Pastor Bowles, and this whole process. But before we leave this program, we need to say to people, there are some difficult parts in all of this. What would you say was the most difficult part going to that orientation meeting? What was the most difficult part in the whole process for you, Judy?
The most difficult part was, I guess, not having enough faith in the beginning. Looking at all of the people there, I'm like, this will never happen. There's too many.
Impossible.
It's impossible. There's too many people in Austin that wants affordable housing, and I'm just one, and there's 200, and they're going to build 12 houses. It will never happen.
Yes.
But the most difficult part is to stay on top of it. Don't ever give up.
I
Don't
think,
ever give up.
Yeah, to have hope, I think.
Yeah.
And I think you need to say that to the
Yeah.
viewing audience, because
Yeah.
those who would like to find affordable housing
Yeah.
need to make certain that they deal with those doubts and insecurities, that they can have hope. And
Yeah.
this will fall into place if they continue to, what's the word, persevere, huh? To hang
Yeah,
in there.
to hang in there.
Yeah, and to believe.
And to believe.
Yeah.
God helps those who helps themselves. You get out there
You
and
keep
you give
saying
it.
that all the time, Judy.
Yeah.
Pastor Bowles,
be
what
true.
about you in terms of being a coordinator and trying to rev up people? What are some of the difficult things? Because you're not going to be coordinator always, are you? Or is that a permanent
I
calling?
hope
you
it's
have?
not going to be. I'm very open and willing to share the joy. I think the endurance, that it's not a sprint, but it's a long
marathon,
pull.
huh?
And during the summer, the days got hot. People had other obligations, went on vacation. So to continue to come up with a crew every Saturday, I frequently felt like I should have my cheerleader outfit on to kind of, rah, rah, go. And, we used the internet this year, that every week we sent a update to all the congregational leaders to let them know where we stood on the build, what was coming up next. We need more workers, or, maybe a congregation has a change, and, we need to get more support out. So, but keeping everybody fired and motivated up, that's, there's a lot of variety in terms of how people experience it.
I hear you saying God calls you to this, that God's involved in this. And as people of faith, we recognize that God's not out there someplace, but God is in the daily living.
Yeah.
We're just about ready to conclude this program of Austin Faith Dialogue. Judy, what would you want to say to the viewing audience as a homeowner now who's gone through this process?
All things are possible through God. All things are possible, and just never give up.
Well, you are a woman of faith, and you bless not only your family and not only your faith community, but Judy, you bless the Austin community, and more people are going to know you through this program.
Yeah.
Pastor Bowles?
Yeah, I would say, don't worry about doing the whole house, but, get the hammer and hammer a few nails, and you will kind of be bit by the excitement of being a part of something holy and something special.
Exactly.
And you'll want to do more.
And living the dream and sharing the vision.
Yeah.
We're beginning a new year, new century. We're not going to be able to see the end of the new century, but we're going to live today. And as people of faith, we have that opportunity. Judy and Pastor Kent Bowles have shared that vision with us, and that's our call. And here in Austin Faith Dialogue, we'd like to invite you to be a partner with those people of faith who seek to make our community a better place. And that's our pledge and commitment to you. That as we share these moments together, these televised moments together, that we can have that vision, that we can make our place to live, our community, a better place. From all of us in Austin Faith Dialogue, we say to you, Happy New Year. God bless you, and may we build together. Peace.